Hello everyone, my name is Patricia Tanumihardja and I'm the author of Ramen for Everyone. This is my debut picture book, but I have written 4 cookbooks before this, and today I am grateful to the Boulder Bookstore for inviting me to do an author Q&A with them. And without further ado, I will start on the questions. So the first one is, can you tell us what your book is about? Well, so my book is about a little boy by the name of Hiro, and he wants to make a perfect bowl of ramen just like his dad and his dad's dad before that. So he spends every weekend watching his dad make ramen for the family, and he's taken some copious notes, and one day he finally decides that he is ready to make his own bowl of ramen for everybody. And of course, he underestimates what effort it takes to make ramen, and everything results in some hilarious hijinks. So what inspired you to write this book? Well, the main inspiration for this book is my son, Isaac. When he was very little, probably, when he was about 1 or 2, he discovered his love for noodles, and that's all he wanted to eat. And when he got older, we took him to a ramen restaurant, and you should have seen how quickly and voraciously he downed that bowl of noodles. So even till today, Isaac is now 13. His number one favorite food is ramen. Whenever we want to go out to eat, when we ask him, he's like, "What would you like to have for dinner?" And he'll be like, "Ramen, ramen, ramen." And also at the time, I was writing a cookbook, and I was developing several ramen recipes for it. And also, I was watching my son and my husband's relationship grow, and my son really looked up to his dad and wanted to do everything that his dad did. I mean, what son doesn't look up to his father, right? So I put all these 3 elements together, and I came up with the story Ramen for Everyone. So did I cook and possibly eat a lot of ramen while writing this book? Yes. But then again, my family eats ramen all the time. So I would say when I was writing this book, I did get very hungry for ramen. And as everybody who has read this book has told me, after reading it, they and their children want to eat ramen. So that's why there's a recipe at the end of this book so that you can make ramen at home. Next question is, can you tell us your experience working with Shiho Pate, the illustrator? Now, contrary to what a lot of people think, Shiho and I did not collaborate at all when it came down to the illustrations. So I submitted my manuscript to my editor, and the editor gave my manuscript to Shiho with some art notes here and there. And from there, Shiho took my text and developed all the illustrations on her own. So we did not communicate at all during that process. But once the book was done, we actually got to know each other on Zoom, and we collaborated on the marketing and publicity aspects. So we did we had an Instagram launch together. We did a lot of cross promotion together. We developed swag together, and we just kept each other apprised of what we were doing. And this August, we are actually meeting in California, in LA, to do a book event together at Once Upon a Time bookstore. So I'm really looking forward to that. Next question. So can you tell us what's your perfect bowl of ramen? So my perfect bowl of ramen has a shio broth, which is salt-based broth, and my favorite toppings would include chashu pork, menma, which is marinated bamboo shoots, and the nitamago egg, which is the egg that is marinated in soy sauce and some sugar and some mirin and sake. So, but I, I would enjoy just about any topping on my ramen. So let's see, what are a couple of books that I read during the pandemic that I really loved? Ooh, this is a really difficult question. So I read tons of books during the pandemic. Well, I read tons of books all the time. So, but let me think. So I think two of my favorite ones were, let's see, the first one is a middle grade fantasy novel written by Christina Soontornvat, and it's about a 12-year-old girl by the name of Sai who becomes an assistant to a celebrated map maker, and they go on an expedition to chart the southern seas. And the southern seas is reputed to be filled with dragons and unimaginable riches. So she goes on an adventure, and she not only discovers some secrets about people on board the ship, but also learns more about herself and her family. So, and then the other book that I really enjoyed is called Miss Eliza's English Kitchen by Annabelle Abbs. So it's the real life story of cookery writer Eliza Acton. And so I didn't realize that she was actually initially a poet, but due to unforeseen circumstances, she had to take on a commission to write a cookbook. And so she hired an assistant. Her assistant's name is Anne Kirby, and together, they discovered exotic ingredients and different cooking techniques and styles, and came up with different recipes to include in their cookbook. So it's a wonderful story about female friendship and the pleasures of food. All right, so the next question is, let's see, is there anything else you want us to know about your book? Wow, so this is my debut children's book, and I first wrote it in 2014, I believe. So it took me 9 years to get from, jotting the first notes down and writing the outline to actually getting it published. So it's been a long time coming, and I am really thrilled that it is one of the increasing number of children's books that reflect our diverse population. So my book is about family and about the joy of cooking, and also creativity and a growth mindset, but it's also about representation. So I truly believe that we need diverse books. So, and representation matters. So I'm glad that Ramen for Everyone is just one of the many books that are coming out there, that are getting published, that kids from all diverse backgrounds can see themselves reflected in. So, and now I am going to read from my book. So, this is, let's make sure that you can see some pictures too. So my book is called Ramen for Everyone, and is written by me, Patricia Tanumihardja, and illustrated by the absolutely wonderful Shiho Pate. Hiro loves ramen with nori seaweed, briny like the ocean, with nitamago egg, the yolk golden like the sun, with chashu pork so tender it melts in your mouth. Most of all, Hiro wants to make the perfect bowl of ramen. Look at this absolutely lovely bowl of ramen. Just like his dad and his dad's dad before that. Every Sunday, Hiro's dad makes ramen for dinner. See, he's making ramen. When I was growing up in Hawaii, I watched Grandpa make ramen too, says Dad. That's how I learned. First, Dad chops, simmers, and seasons. Grandpa's secret to a rich and flavorful broth is patience. Then Dad mixes, slices, can you see that? And dips. Grandpa says noodles should be soft and springy, just like your earlobe. Just like your earlobe. Finally, Dad shreds, steeps, and stews. See, the whole family's having delicious bowls of ramen. And to finish, a choice of toppings for everyone, because you can't argue with taste. Hiro has been studying Dad's technique for some time now. And when his 7th birthday comes, Hiro decides he's ready. I'm a big boy now. I'm going to make the perfect bowl of ramen. The next day, Hiro studies his notes. He puts on his apron and he rolls up his sleeves. Let's make ramen. Yes, chef. So that's a little snippet from my picture book. If you'd like to find out what happens, please get my book either from the library or from your bookstore, preferably Boulder Bookstore. But thank you very much for listening. And if you have any questions or would like to send me some comments or photos of your ramen bowls, my social media contacts are down below. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.